This is such a beautiful area to me because I love fish, and the brook trout is my favorite. Salvelinus spontanelis, fish of the spring. They are disappearing in a lot of places. The state of Tennessee has virtually lost most of the brook trout because of encroachment by rainbow trout, and they don't compete well with rainbows. They're more aggressive.
Right.
So they've been driven for years by man lumbering, timbering. They've been driven up into the spring heads like this. I would call this the spring heads. That's where they can survive. If the water temperature gets over 72 degrees, they're under great stress and usually don't live. And that's why I wanted my grandson to catch a real brook trout. And he did. Beautiful fish. To me, that's a Virginia state fish. Somebody don't know that. It's the eastern brook trout with the beautiful fins, white tip, the red spots with the blue halos around it. And nothing else looks like that. Prettiest fish of all. Now that is the only true trout. If it is a trout, it's a char that we have. The others are true trout. A rainbow is a trout. Rainbows were not, there were no rainbows basically. Bob Jenkins said there was one creek. I knew he would come up with something last year, and he's a great ichthyologist. There were no trout east of the Rockies. The rainbow trout is a west coast fish. The rainbow trout here are introduced. The brown trout came both from England, and that particular strain in England was a Loch Levin strain of browns, Scotch and whatever, Scotland or whatever. And the German brown has a lot of red in it, a lot more red in it, and that's the Von Behr strain. Smith River has a lot of Von Behr strains with a red in it, a lot of pretty red. Red up in the adipose fin on top and whatever. So I've always been fascinated by trout. But in talking to Gary Martell, who's head of Virginia's freshwater fishing, I'm in a committee with them. They're really concerned with the brook trout. Virginia, I'm telling you this so you'll know this, Virginia has more brook trout than any place south of New England. No place south of New England has more than Virginia.
I believe it.
And that's right. We have a lot of them, and they're in places like this, the cold water. A female brook trout will probably deposit 300 eggs at 6 inches long. That would be one ready. The brook trout, average age of a brook trout is 3 years. That's the average age. You hear people talking about 20-inch brook trout. They're in Canada somewhere. I've caught big ones in Canada, but not here in this country. So a brook trout that is 4 or 5 years old is that great big native that you catch that might be 11, 12, 13, 14 inches. Now Larry Moan and his crew, they did a survey on all the cold streams in Virginia of the trout. And of course, and so they cataloged them, and they didn't catch any brook trout in Virginia, I think over 16 or 17 inches. And they caught most of them in the southern part of Virginia, south. And I say south, that's from Rocky Mount or Franklin County down. Deforestation. You don't cut the canopy off of a cold water stream. You don't cut the trees off. You go by some place and you look, and they have totally stripped the trees. And what do you think that happens to that water in August?
Heats up.
Drought. The main minnow that you find with these fish, with the brook trout, would be the black-nosed dace. You'd have the black-nosed dace, I'm sure, here. You get to Franklin County, chubs are predators on trout. The bluehead chub in Franklin County, the bluehead. On this side of the James River, we have the fall fish, or the white chub. Trout do not compete with warm water fishing. They can't compete with the warm water fishing. The centrarchids are like the sunfish, the rock bass, the smallmouth bass. They can't compete with them. So, you know, that's a precious thing And this beautiful place here, I love this. There's nothing to me, I've said this before. Harold Harris has been to more places than I've been, but I've been all over Europe and Switzerland and England and France. And I've been all over this country. I've been to the Tetons. I took my son Jackson's daddy. I said, Jack, look at that. Isn't that spectacular? He's a Franklin County boy. He said, I don't think so. I don't have any trees on it. There's snow up on top, you know, Jack, if you know him. But whatever. So, you know, and if you go out and you go to Colorado, so this is nice. Well, half of Colorado is a desert. You're looking at evergreens all together. Jim Grove, who's the head coach at Wake Forest University, is one of our boys. He's a Ferrum boy. His wife, when I'd go to the Air Force Academy to talk to their coaching staff, would say, I hope we go east. There's not enough shade out here to have a picnic. All the evergreens. You don't have the deciduous forest that you get. Look at this forest here. Look at this forest, and look at what we have in the eastern United States. And I don't think there's anything prettier than this. This is beautiful. The high elevation, that cold spring water coming off there, and the key to the thing, the eastern brook trout. When they're gone, we're in trouble. And Gary told me that the average temperature has gone up over a degree in the last 4 or 5 years in these mountain streams.
Over a degree.
Huh?
That's a lot.
Yeah, we don't need
That's
that.
a lot.
Don't need that.
And so to keep all this stuff, this is, to me, is precious. I hope that nothing ever happens to it. I'm about out of here.
Amen.
I've enjoyed it, all of it. But this is the eastern slope. I'll tell a Franklin County story. I had a boy in class named Jeff Cooper. And he said, trout, he said, my daddy told me trout won't raise in Atlantic water. I said, well, he's wrong. He said, trout won't raise in Atlantic water. I said, no, Jeff, I don't think so. I said, I guarantee we got it. So they're raising in Atlantic water. But what a lovely place. And Doug, we appreciate just an opportunity to come here and look at it. You've been a great host.
Thank you.
I'm an old man. I don't know. I'll make it back again.
We hope
that
you do.
chair, I might. But,
Hey,